There it is. I pushed the fucking button this time.
All right. Recording in progress. Good job. Good job. Look at you.
So, we did a whole show on the Strangers, and I didn't record a second of it.
Yep.
So now we have to do the same thing over again.
Do the thing.
Make it sound rehearsed.
Which we always tell everybody that we don't rehearse anything.
This is totally scripted.
This completely scripted.
Like the
this
NFL.
Is like Jersey Shore on internet.
So today we have some special guests. We got the man in the mask, and then we got these two hoes.
Both shoulders.
And that hoe.
So
Stevie, so this is like kind of your first show, right?
Yes, sir.
Kind of ish.
Yeah.
So
being that's your first show
ish. Top 4 favorite horror characters. Well, we're not going to say your favorite, but we're going to say Freddy, Michael, Jason, Leatherface. I want to see if it's changed since yesterday.
We might have accidentally not recorded.
Off.
All right.
Fuck both you guys.
So at the bottom, I'm going to have to say Freddy, because
let me guess. Because he's not real.
Yeah, I can't believe you caught that. Yes, because it's not realistic to me. If it stuck like the first one, maybe he would be a little higher, but he got too hokey. So it just ultimately made him kind of comical to me. Took the scariness away from me. So I put him at number 4 right now.
Okay.
Jason would be 3 for the same reasons for the most part. I mean, I love him to death, but yeah, Jason would be number 3. And it's really close. I have a hard time choosing between 1 and 2 with these two, but I'm going to have to say Leatherface at number 2.
Oh, that's different.
That's different.
He's my fave. He's my fave. I love Texas Chainsaw. Scared the crap out of me. He's the one who got me into like reading about serial killers because I looked up Ed Gein and just to know the whole story and everything. Scared the crap out of me. But Michael Myers has to be number 1.
Man,
Mike called Leatherface a pussy.
Yeah, he's pussy.
No. Yeah, I want to see you say that when he's in front of you cutting your face off.
Listen, I'm not going to be in the same room with the guy.
Making a chair out of your bones.
But I mean, he cowers to his family members.
Because he loves them.
Meanwhile, Michael's cutting them up.
That is
point. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yes. I guess maybe it could go 1 and 2 between the two if I'm mad at my family or not.
Oh, okay.
If someone in my family irritated me, then I'll maybe, I'll be like, yeah, Michael. And then if they're all super cool, like it's my birthday and they're all like, Steve, happy birthday. I love you so much. I'll be like,
I mean, who's the sharpest dress? You know what I mean? Who's the sharpest dress out of the 4? That's the
Leatherface.
Yeah, Leatherface. Yeah, he's got the tie, right?
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's stinky.
Oh man, that's gotta.
But yeah, I would say Michael number 1. Leatherface very close to number 2. Jason, and then Freddy.
Okay.
Based off of realism.
Based off of more scaring me, and realism scares me.
All right. Well, that leads us into the show. Realism.
Strange.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Strangers today.
Woo!
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah.
It's a home invasion film. I wouldn't call it original by any stretch. I mean, there were other home invasion films before. We had talked about Funny Games. which you got to watch, Mike. I like that movie a lot. The original and the remake are really similar, so you can just watch the remake.
Okay.
Older movies like When a Stranger Calls, but this one kind of stands out for a lot of different reasons. And we were talking about the killers, um, the characters of the killers, the cinematography, the soundtrack, the score. So that's kind of why we picked The Strangers, I think, right?
Absolutely. And I think the two movies are so different and have their own like positives and negatives. They stand alone, but are together.
I think they work well together, even though they're so different.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Um,
It's the way it's the way I think you should do a sequel.
yeah, and not to regurgitate what we said, but I love that it's completely different than the sequel's completely different than the original. Like they didn't try to recreate the same film.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they went a completely different way.
Absolutely.
So, starting off with the original, I love that they made it seem like a real film. They took a lot from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The narration in the beginning that sounds like John Larroquette from Night Court from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's funny, I rewatched the first one today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to see what you were talking about. And the opening scene when they're panning through the neighborhood,
Yes.
I saw what you were talking about. So go
You
ahead.
should
Really?
It's
So
yeah,
you saw. So all right. So the one that sticks out the most, right, in that first scene is the Amityville house,
yes.
right? And then I kind of looked, and I think that maybe then after I saw that, I kind of went back and I was like, I mean, that could kind of be Nightmare on Elm Street house.
Yeah, so uh your observation is in the beginning when they're panning,
Mm-hmm.
not even real, it's more of like stock footage in the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
It looks like they're driving out into the setting of the film. They're driving past these houses and the houses resemble um houses from horror films. The
Absolutely.
Amityville one, I see like the gambrel roof, like the barn style roof.
Yeah. It didn't have the windows, I don't believe.
I don't think
Um,
so either. But then I saw the house that you were talking about that kind of looks like the Nightmare on Elm Street house,
mm-hmm.
and I never
That's
noticed that before.
that's awesome. I never noticed that.
Yeah,
And
Mike.
again, it could just be me kind of looking too much into it, but I don't know.
Well, you came correct with notes. So,
Yeah, I did. I did. I still got them.
um, Stevie, I know you really love this film.
Yes.
Um, I didn't realize how much you loved it until we talked about it the other day, yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't realize that you were that into it, which I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It was. It's
Yeah,
just.
for sure.
I don't know. I love those type of horror films, and not many people, especially within the last 10, 15, 20 years, have done it right. And I felt as though he did it right in this one. You
You
know,
really did.
I don't need the blood splatter, crazy violence. I love the like Halloween, sneaky. You are thinking about it in your head and just, yeah, it just really floored me the way it was shot, the way it was done. And yeah, I love the first one.
So I noticed the transition in the first one, and I don't want to jump ahead, but uh, the film is very dark. It's shot very dark, dark lighting, a dark atmospheric mood, but it's like a dark sadness, and you can tell that there's something going on with the couple. And it doesn't really say right away what happened, but you can just tell that something happened. And then they kind of do the flashbacks, and it shows that she uh, said no when he proposed.
Yeah.
But I noticed that when they're in the cabin and she puts that record on. It's Joanna Newsom, Sprout and the Bean. It's kind of like that weird kids song on a harp, and she's just kind of like playing the harp and singing. It's a very simple song, but I feel like that's the transition of the film where it becomes like dark and gloomy and sad to dark and scary.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I agree.
And it's not a huge transition. I mean, something happens, um, the knock on the door, whatever it is, and then the whole film shifts.
I think where the movie shines is in its subtlety, and that's the scary part of it. It's not in your face.
Yes.
And subtlety is always scarier. The
Absolutely.
unknown.
We talked about that before too, like the anticipation.
Yep.
That is definitely my favorite part of that type of horror, the psychological horror. Just love that you sit at your seat just waiting to see what but yeah, I agree. And the good thing about that though, like seeing these different chapters, so to speak, in the movie where it's changing, that makes you don't catch that the first time you watch the movie really. Because you're not gonna listen to that music and be like, oh, this movie is getting crazy now. That that just proves the movie, like you want to keep going back and watching it and you catch more and more. That's another thing I love about the movie. Just like Halloween 2, like just having it, the shape showing up stuff, you don't know it. The first time you watch it, you miss a lot of it. But then when you go back and watch again, you're like, makes you appreciate it a little bit more, I feel.
Like Halloween, you know how many times I watched that movie before I found out that he was standing in the back of the laundry room, like outside in the window?
Yeah.
Like as a
Yeah.
kid, I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at Annie's in her, on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
That was a cool phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's talking
Or like,
on the phone. That's where my attention was.
yeah, or like Jason in part 7. The guy goes into the kitchen and he's like in the back corner.
Um,
The lightning. It's a very it's I mean it's kind of obscure right now, but
I'm thinking of Jason Goes to Hell. He does that.
no, it's not Jason Goes to Hell.
No, is it not?
It's 7, I'm pretty sure.
The
Like the guy goes downstairs,
telekinesis.
he goes to the kid, he goes into the refrigerator, and the lightning goes, and Jason's in the corner.
The stoner guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you talk about. It's right after they got done doing their thing and the electricity goes out and stuff. He goes downstairs to get a beer. I know what you're talking about.
After they're done playing Yahtzee.
Yeah.
Did you just watch that?
Huh?
Did you just watch that?
Just watch what?
That film, that movie.
No.
It just stuck out. It just
It's
sticks.
just so funny thing is, for whatever reason, when I was a kid, I watched part 7 more than any other one. And I don't know if it was just because it was on TV more than the other ones. I just remember that one more than any of them.
That's one of my least favorite.
6 is the one I seen on TV the most.
Yeah. 6 is probably one of my favorite sequels. But we're getting off subject.
Yeah, we're talking about strangers here.
All right.
So, there was a part in The Strangers that, and this is going to be kind of a spoiler alert. Obviously, they're coming into the house. He calls his buddy Mike to come and get him. Mike shows up and comes into the house. They're kind of hunkered down in the bedroom with a shotgun.
Yep.
And Mike's walking down the hallway, and the man in the mask is right behind him. And it's completely unexpected. But I want to say the guy's name is James in the film.
Which one? The one that gets shot?
No, the main character.
I think it's James. I think you're right.
I think it's James and Kristen. I just watched it and I already forget. So Mike's walking by the hallway and bam, dude shoots him. And the man in the mask is just kind of like standing back. And I don't know. To me, it was like a comic relief. We talked
Mhm.
about that yesterday, but I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. Like the way that the man in the mask kind of watches the guy drop and he realizes he doesn't have to do that job. And then he
Right.
goes off.
See, the first time I watched that, I didn't think of it as funny. I was thinking of it as, he got off easy. He was gonna die either way. Which way was it gonna be?
I mean,
Is he gonna get hacked to death with the knife, or is he gonna, getting shot and dying like that?
you and I are very different. I was laughing my ass off.
Of
Well,
course.
I thought it was funny for a much different way.
But you have
And
a
that
good
guy,
point.
Huh?
that guy, their friend that came in, what was his name? The friend that you guys,
Mike.
Mike. He's in that show. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that's why I recognized him.
Yeah,
Yep.
we were talking about that last night, and I looked that up because I knew him from something too, and that's what I knew him from.
Okay. So, the acting in the original Strangers to me was by far superior.
Can I go back to the shooting scene?
Yeah, yeah.
So my biggest issue with the shooting scene was a lot of things. Number
Okay.
one, he called out their name when he first came in the house. Like called them out. Then he comes in the house and doesn't say another word. Like he realizes some shit is going on, but he doesn't say anything. And then he's creeping around. And then I thought it was hilarious when the dude who had just picked up the shotgun and told Liv Tyler or Liv Taylor, depending on who you are, wait, she's like, "Oh, you've hunted with your dad," and he's like, "Nah, that's a lie." Basically, like that's a lie to get in your pants, right? So
I thought
then
that
all of a
was
sudden,
weird.
what?
I thought, like, why would you lie about that?
That's a weird lie. Yeah, but I think that's I don't know. I think that they probably threw that in the movie, but it would have been better if they didn't, because then I would have thought, okay, this guy can shoot a shotgun and be as accurate as he was shooting the guy right in the face. Like after seeing him for a split second, like he literally, like I'm sure his face barely even came into the door, and he shot him right in the face.
I think you're being picky.
Well,
I'm
it's a
not being
shotgun
picky.
too. The pellets go.
Yeah, if
I
it's
mean,
a shot, you could shoot right through the wall.
I get it,
I get what you're saying too, though. I do.
but I'm going to say that that's where that movie took a turn from
Took a
To what-
turn for the worst.
for the worst. Because again, the acting, I thought the acting was great. I thought Liv Tyler was awesome. I thought it did have suspense, but there was a lot of things after that that made me start to not like. They just made a lot of choices that didn't make any sense. And again, it's a home invasion movie. But when he's like, "You stay in the house," they know damn well they're in the house. But he's going to leave her there by herself when she doesn't have any weapon, anything to protect herself. He knows it, but he's still going to leave and go do whatever he's going to do with his shotgun that he doesn't know how to use.
She said no. Remember this.
He said what?
She said no. She turned down the engagement.
Yeah.
So he's
what,
not
he
going to
wants her
care if
dead?
she dies or not. Leave her in the house. Let her die. Who cares? I'm getting out of there. You don't want to be my wife? You're going to break my heart. I'm out.
So then she runs out, right? And she doesn't, like, she should know. All right, who doesn't know their yard? Any of us? I know my yard. You guys
I
know
know
your
my
yard? Are you going to know if there's a big, like, 5-foot ravine running out of your house?
Maybe, I mean, it was their family cabin. Maybe it wasn't there before.
Yeah. I think he dismissed a lot of what she was saying, like, way too long. Right? Like, maybe at the beginning dismiss it, but he kept dismissing it and dismissing. And then even when he went out to the car and everything was bashed up, he didn't really think much of it.
Probably those damn kids.
Yeah. And then, so that was another thing. Like he said, he goes, you know what's weird? We haven't heard a car or heard a dog forever. Dude, it's 4 a.m. You're not going to hear much.
Yeah.
Look, I'm giving too many credit. I get it. I'm giving too many credits, but I don't know.
All right. Well, here.
It took me out of the movie. That was the problem.
Calm down.
Sorry.
Couple different points I want to talk about. We talked about Liv Tyler. For those of you who don't know, Liv Tyler is Steven Tyler from Aerosmith's daughter, the singer from Aerosmith. Liv Tyler, not Liv Taylor. There's a
Taylor,
Liv
not Elizabeth Taylor's daughter.
And then there's a Liv. So I thought she did an incredible job, and I thought the guy that played James did an incredible job as far as the acting. We were talking about that shotgun scene, and there was it's a point of music and how they used music in weird places.
Mm-hmm.
You took notes on this. That was a Merle Haggard song, is that right?
Yeah, so it was a Merle Haggard song and the Mama Tried song, right? So I looked even deeper, and the name of the album is called Killers 3. And I thought that was really cool. I don't think that's coincidence.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
There's no way. Now, I don't remember. Did they put that song on? I think they did.
No,
there was a point in there, like I don't ever see them change that record.
Right. But it was a completely different song.
Yeah, I don't think they played the like, hey, we're under attack. Quick, get the Merle Haggard record. Let's put that shit on.
So the Killers put it on.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Oh, they may have, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think the Killers put it on. Like I think they found it and put it on.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah,
I'll have to watch that part again.
Yeah.
Something Steve said that I didn't know. The Liv Tyler part was originally supposed to be played by.
So
go ahead.
The guy that did the movie,
yeah,
he didn't want to direct it. He just wrote it.
Okay.
And should I go over this or just stay out of that?
No, go ahead.
Keep going. Yeah, keep going.
So it was based off of a childhood incident from him where he was home alone and some man knocked on the door, and when he went to the door, the guy just kind of left. He asked for someone that didn't live there, and the guy left. Didn't think anything of it. Next day, he woke up, and several houses down the road had break-ins by this guy that knocked on his door. And so that was the little part of the movie that scarred him, that made him write this script and write this movie. And then he took the rest from Helter Skelter, the Helter Skelter story. So he combined that to make it, a movie.
The Sharon Tate murders with Charles Manson.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. The Sharon Tate Manson. So when he wrote it, that's all he wanted to do was just write the script. He wanted to have someone else direct it and everything. But when he wrote that script, he always had Liv as that part. He saw her as that part when he actually was like finalizing the script and everything. But when they were actually hunting for a director, there was bigger movie company that was going to pick it up, and it would have a higher budget. And they were trying to get Charlize Theron. How do you say her name?
Charlize Theron.
Yeah, the monster lady, the monster girl.
Charlize Theron.
So
she was in Devil's Advocate too, correct?
Yes, good
call. She's been in a lot. Yeah. Mad Max Fury Road.
She tried out for that part, and then that director dropped out. So the guy who wrote the movie originally and everything ended up taking on a directing role for the movie. And he said the only way he will direct it is if it goes back to Liv being in the movie, because he purposely, when he finalized that script, he had her in mind. So that's how it, ultimately ended up being her. They actually pushed back shooting of that movie because she was, I forget if she was injured or had a baby. It was one of the two. So she was out for a while. So they actually had to push back recording of the movie because of this. He wanted her so badly in the film.
So the a couple different questions. I know there was another working title, not The Strangers. What was it originally?
The Faces.
The Faces.
Yes. Originally it was supposed to be called The Faces, and then it got changed to Strangers.
That's a cool name, but I like The Strangers better, I think.
The Stranger's better too.
Yeah. I
And
agree with that.
Who ended up putting out the first film?
What, company or person?
Company.
I thought Rogue. I thought Rogue did both of them.
Rogue and Intrepid Pictures put it, I think, together to come up with something.
Because I know, like, the part 2, it was Universal was going to for a long time, and they dropped it, and then Rogue picked it up and did it. And I thought that was because Rogue did the first one as well.
So, overall, what do you guys think about The Strangers? Stevie, you loved it.
I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic movie.
Mike just shit on it for about 15 minutes.
Well, listen, can I talk about another part?
Yeah.
So, Liv Tyler going into the barn. She has a little flashlight. It's dark as hell, and she shines it onto this whole thing of tools. And once you know it, there's an outline of an axe on the wall. Like,
I
what?
feel like we've discussed this.
Yeah, you feel like that?
I'm gonna be honest, man. Old people do that shit. They will tape stuff
Around.
where it goes. Every tool has its place. Put the motherfucker back where it belongs.
So was this an old person's house? Like, I guess I'm confused. It wasn't their house?
No, it was like his parents' house, and I went there to like vacation or something. His parents were like dead
Okay,
or something.
so maybe I'll let it go that she like didn't know the ravine was there. All right, maybe I'll let that part go.
I'm surprised that out of the whole thing with that, it was that outline of the X on there that you were complaining about, as opposed to them having a CB working in there that the Strangers didn't break up to begin with, so they couldn't get in touch, and they break it then,
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, don't worry about the CB.
But yeah.
But another thing you talked about earlier was how they had the beginning part with the talking. And it's like a lot like Texas Chainsaw, but it was also a lot like Texas Chainsaw because it showed that car and it shot through the hole in the back of the car at the beginning. Was that the beginning of the movie?
That was
I think it was both. Beginning, there was one at the beginning and one at the end of the movie.
So I was referencing the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre with the narration, but I guess the remake had that as well, and the remake had the hole.
Yeah,
the remake had that.
It was the hole because of the girl.
The girl
put the hole there
right
after it.
Yes.
I want to get this thing flagged.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure that it was coincidence. Again, I don't think it's a thing that's coincidence. I think he's pretty, knowing what we know about the next one we're going to review, Pray at Night.
Does anyone know when that remake of Texas Chainsaw came out by chance?
Oh, you love that movie. Why don't you tell us?
No.
You said it was better than the original.
Oh, no, Steve, what?
I'm done with this podcast. Out. I'm done. No, really. Like, do you happen to know what year that movie came out, the remake?
My guess would be around the same time.
I'll look right now.
Strangers was, I think they were filming it in 2006, and it came out to theaters in 2008.
Yes.
Yeah. That might have come out later. The new Texas Chainsaw, but maybe not.
I'm looking right now. Hang on. Stevie hates that movie.
Oh, yes.
What or that he loves the original so much. 03, the remake came out.
Okay.
All right. So yep, they probably stole the shot from that stupid movie.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And then when they showed with the two kids,
Yeah.
again, I looked way too far into it, but they showed the hole in the car, and it's like in the shape of a heart.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too.
Did you notice that?
Yeah, it was just like,
With the two kids, yeah, with the two kids, like the two pure kids, right?
yeah. Do you think that was intentional?
Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot of things in movies that are intentional that we don't realize.
I mean, that's really putting a lot into something so subtle. But I like the idea that it could be subtle or that it could be intentional. You
Yeah.
know,
How did you guys feel about the ending trope of her grabbing him?
uh I thought it was okay. I mean, I guess that's what would happen. You
I
know?
mean, it would, but
I,
oh,
all right.
I don't think she'd be alive.
Oh, you don't think so?
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like they finished the job on things that they do.
Yeah, I mean the jump scare was it was cool to have the jump scare,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. See, originally they shot that differently at the end. They shot it where the killers actually take their masks off and you see their faces and they clean up the house. They clean up all their mess that they made and everything and then go on their own business. So she's dead in the actual real shooting of it, but then they, reshot the ending or whatever and left it that way with the final jump scare.
Yeah.
I like that they didn't really show the faces. Kind of showed profile at the very end
Yeah.
when they get out and they get the pamphlets from the kids. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I don't want to see their faces.
No.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Makes it that much more scarier to me.
Yeah. It's the anticipation again.
Yeah, I like that they kept the masks on.
Just
And they
that
did. They
idea.
weren't made for this.
I like that idea of like these killers could be doing this, and the next day you could be at the grocery store right next to them and have no idea.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, for sure.
it's all them. It's the
Yeah, I don't need
greatest.
to see them cleaning out the Bluebell ice cream or whatever it was and all that stuff.
We're gonna talk about the Bluebell.
I heard I heard someone complain about that because I guess throughout the whole movie, it still looks like it was just taken out of the freezer. It never melts or something like that when it's sitting on the table. Throughout the whole movie, you see that
I
it
mean, it would
doesn't
kind of
melt.
look the same, wouldn't it? If there's like nothing, I mean, it would kind of probably just look the same.
See, I don't know myself, but this person I heard talking about it hated that
They got,
factor. I was
they
like,
got
wow,
angry.
really?
We're talking
Really?
about the ice cream.
It was a video I saw.
That ice cream looks so good when he scoops it off the top.
Yeah, he needs to check his freezer setting because I've never had ice cream come out of the freezer and scoop that quick.
Oh, that was the perfect.
Break that up.
Yeah, yeah. I've bent spoons.
I wonder how much ice cream that company sold, Blue Bunny, from that film. Like we're
Probably
talking
not.
about it right now.
Probably not much.
I might go buy some.
All right. I thought maybe you'd have some today. I don't know why, because this is the first time that we're talking about it.
We should have been here eating it. We should all had our own little tiny pints or something eating that while we're doing this.
You did say something that was that you said you knew where it was recorded or filmed.
South Carolina. They filmed in South Carolina.
That was the first film.
The first Strangers was filmed in South Carolina. Well, most of it was, I should say. It was like way out in the boonies. But then like the stuff in the house was shot in a warehouse because of to have the room for them to get around and stuff, because they like that house, they actually used that house and they used a model of that house, but they just expanded it in the warehouse. So there was more room for them to, sneak up on them and do the stuff that they were doing. But yeah, that the first one was filmed in South Carolina. I'm not sure about the other one, but yeah.
So
Well, the other one. Oh, go ahead.
the outside shots of they just use the exterior of the house.
But they used the inside as well for little shots here and there. But when it was like them inside fighting, or like that scene with when Liv is by the fireplace and you see the bag face guy come up in the shadow watching her, like that stuff was shot in a warehouse that they set up just like the inside of that house, just bigger.
Okay. So, should we go on to Pray at Night?
I think so.
Sure.
Did you guys happen to watch the promo?
No.
Oh, come on.
No.
It's a 2-minute video, Mike.
You can bring it up on YouTube. We could have a 2-minute conversation while I watched it now.
You want me to go watch it?
No.
So, I really love the promo. We talked about it. It's done over the I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany, but it's a cover, and it kind of shows them cleaning up after an incident, and then I'm assuming going to the next. And it's done through like a first person point of view through the killer's eyes. That's on YouTube. So if you've never seen it, Mike, it's only 2 minutes long.
All right.
It's a cool promo, I thought.
I feel attacked.
And again, they used 80s music, which they did throughout this entire next film.
Yeah, it's kind of like a prequel to like what's coming.
Yeah. So Pray at Night starts off with that beautiful shot. And I could tell the cinematography of this film is immediately it's going to be awesome. There's the light above the mailbox.
Yep.
And it's a very simple shot, but it's a little like over the top, maybe oversaturated a little.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it. It's Exorcist-esque, like that one poster.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the poster with the light coming down over the subject. And then the opening song, what is it? Kids in America?
Kids in America. Yep.
Hey,
Whoa.
And you're just like it kind of throws you back because of how the first one barely had any music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like very little.
That.
Yeah, it's and plus it's more of a upbeat song.
Yeah.
It's not Sprouting the Bean. It's not Merle Haggard. It's an 80s pop song.
Kind of innocent. Kind of innocent in a way.
Yeah. And then the darkness in that shot. So that immediately kind of captivated me. I was kind of glued from that point.
Yeah. And that's taking a big chance because that can go sideways quick.
Yeah. And I like how they used in this throughout the whole movie, they used songs that you wouldn't think would go in those scenes.
Right.
Like out of place songs, but they fit perfectly.
Yeah.
Love that.
I have a little bit about that in my notes for later.
All right.
I know you might not know that, but I'm going to.
Well, surprise me.
Before you get to that, though, Mike, you were saying yesterday, where was it that was shot at?
So I think, I'm not saying the whole thing was shot there, but I think the opening, when they went to the family, I want to say it was the Pittsburgh skyline that they used.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if it was all shot in Pittsburgh. I know they did a showing of the movie at the pool. And where's that at?
Where's what at?
Because I know that you were thinking about going to it.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it was there's a company called it's a guy who does on-set cinemas, and he does films at the location they're filmed in. It might have been in one of the Carolinas. I don't know for sure. I know he's a big fan of that movie, so he'll probably do more.
Yeah. But he showed the movie at the pool, right?
Yeah. That would be so much fun.
Right? I actually went to one of his events for It Follows, and we watched the
Oh, that's
movie in the classroom.
That's
With,
cool,
yeah.
awesome. That's so cool. I would love to do something like that.
right?
He
That's
does,
yeah, that sounds
he
like a
does
blast.
it's a lot of horror movies, but he does other movies too. On-set cinema. If YouTube let me leave a link, I would, but it won't because I'm so new on YouTube, I guess. But
Hmm.
Yeah.
um that being said, I noticed at the beginning where they go to kill the old people.
Yeah.
The cinematography in that is very similar to the first film. Dark. They use the same lighting, it seems. And then after that, everything brightens up. And it kind of cuts to an outside daytime shot with the family getting ready to move.
Yeah. I mean, most of the movies in kind of like foggy dark,
Yeah.
but that for sure. Yeah.
I have watched that opening scene, I don't know how many times, and I still don't really understand it.
What do
So
you mean?
like the old lady hears something, goes
Right.
out and looks out the window, and the truck's there, and she turns around,
Yeah.
and Dollface is there, right?
Right.
So obviously she kills the old lady,
Yeah.
and then um she kind of like I don't it kind of skips a little bit, I think, and she walks back to the bedroom, and the dog is like whimpering, and
I'm guessing that they probably sedated the dog. They had to have.
I like that better than they stabbed the dog or something.
Well, they didn't because remember the dog was there later on in the movie in the room and he bolted out when they opened the door, right?
Oh yeah, so that
Yeah.
makes me feel better.
Because the dog, it was a German Shepherd, right? Like that thing would have been going all kinds of nuts.
You don't fuck
So
with
I,
dogs.
so I kind of looked at it as that they sedated the dog.
So then she lays down next to the old guy who is still sleeping.
The old lady doesn't.
No. The killer
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
lays down next to like behind the old guy who is still breathing, and like this dude didn't wake up.
Maybe he wore hearing aids. Didn't hear her.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Oh,
got sedated with the canine.
he's a heavy sleeper.
I don't know. It never made sense to me. I don't understand.
I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. He just didn't wake up. He probably listen, man. I mean, if my girl gets up, I'm not getting up. I'm trying to go back to sleep.
Yeah, very true.
So
And
Now,
then
if
I
she
feel somebody
screamed
get
or
back in the
something,
bed. I'm going to assume it's her.
if she screamed or something, I could see why he would like wake up and or something. But there was no noises made. Old people sleep; they don't hear that great.
Right.
I guess.
It's true.
So then from the movie, it goes to the family, and we talked about the acting in this film. It is not great, with the exception of I
Of Luke, I believe. I believe Luke is good. And
Who's Luke? Who's Luke again, Mike?
so Luke is actually what's his real name? His name is Lewis Pullman, who
Pullman. That's right.
he's Bill Pullman's son. And after I learned that, I was like, oh yeah, he does look a lot like Bill Pullman. Like it made sense. And I think once they started to really go in on him more than anybody, like he was really good.
well, don't jump ahead.
I'm not jumping ahead. I'm
I
just
know
saying.
I know where the turning point is,
Yeah.
where his acting really kicks in. Uh, the daughter,
Yeah.
uh,
Hot
She's
topic.
been in,
yeah,
she's been in movies with Adam Sandler. She was in some movies with Adam Sandler. I know she's been in other things, but she was like the little girl, I believe, and Just Go With It. If you ever seen that.
I've never seen that.
I don't even know
Yeah.
what that is. Is that a horror
But,
movie?
no. But the way she smoked a cigarette drove me insane.
Yeah, you could tell that she doesn't smoke, and
Yeah.
it's unnatural. to
Yeah.
see somebody who doesn't smoke try to act. And I think, in my opinion, you either get an actor or actress that smokes, or maybe just cut that scene out entirely. I don't know if
Yes,
it's necessary.
but so here's actually something interesting. The guy that plays Luke, Lewis Pullman, he actually made a comment to her. He's like, "Hey, you're actually supposed to inhale those."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I caught that too. So
So I
maybe
mean, I thought that was kind of interesting.
she's, I don't know.
Doing
She's
it on
trying to
purpose.
be edgy.
She's
The
trying to
whole
be edgy, but she's not. You know what I mean? Like she's just trying to rebel for being rebellious with her
She's
Ramon
mad at
shirt.
her parents. She's mad at them. She's trying to do whatever she can to make them mad.
Yep.
maybe I missed them. Maybe that was the point. Maybe she's just a really good actress who just annoyed me with the Ramon shirt. And we talked about this before.
Oh, yes.
Whenever, like, there's certain things that we kept sacred growing up, punk rock, skateboarding. It wasn't like a style that everybody adapted, and now it is. And
Yeah.
we talked about like skate stuff, like Thrasher t-shirts. Back in the day, if you saw a Thrasher shirt, you knew that was a skateboarder. Now
Yeah.
it's like every middle school chick has a Thrasher shirt.
And
Yeah.
all celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like Vans used to be skate shoes. You used to like, you look down at somebody's shoes and you could tell they skate.
Yeah.
After
My mom asked me about Vans the other day.
shut up. Did she?
Yeah. She's like, I want to get some Vans.
Your mom used to not let you hang out with me because I wore Vans.
I know.
Did you remind her?
I did.
Kids, I was the bad skateboard kid,
Yep.
and you weren't allowed to hang out.
I was not. You
You're
were
a
a bad
influence.
influence.
Hey,
For sure. There you go.
hey, yes. But yeah, I totally agree with that. We got picked on for looking that way.
Yeah. Now you go to whatever. You could go to the mall. Not that people go to the mall anymore, but just get a Ramon shirt.
Yeah.
Name one Ramon song.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Name a song. There's a guy that walks around he sees people in those shirts. He's like, name 3 songs by that band.
On YouTube, I've seen him.
I've seen him. He's hilarious.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
You
He's
know
fun.
that, like, if he came up to me, I would probably shit my brain.
Yeah,
could
it's one of
still
those on
play.
the spot things.
Like, Ramones. Who are the Ramones?
What did they play? What they sing? But yeah, I agree. She was that put a bad taste in my mouth right at the beginning. Wearing the Ramon shirt, having the flannel shirt tied around her waist, and trying to smoke, and like, yeah, that was trying too hard. I feel to be
But,
relevant.
I forgot about that line, and maybe that was like just a part of her character.
Whether the smoking.
No, like the fakeness of everything.
Yeah.
Um,
It could have been just her, just kind of like it really wasn't in her style, but she got with kids that were like that, and so she kind of tried to fit in, I guess.
That would
Yeah.
make sense. She's at that age and what they're getting ready to do with her and stuff.
I mean, I hate people like that anyway. I've always kind of hated like the tryhards.
Yeah.
So maybe that's where my angst with that chick comes in.
Well, I was mad at her. My angst comes in because I wanted her to die in the first 5 minutes.
But she didn't. And Christina Hendricks, the mom, was the first one to go. And she's actually like, she's a bigger actress.
Yeah.
She died in such a bad way.
I don't know why they got rid of her so quick. And we
I
talked
wonder
way-
if it's mentioned about the budget. Maybe it had something to do with the budget.
well, I was
How much
kinda
they could
not
afford?
joking when I said that, but it very well could be.
They could only afford her for like a fourth of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, maybe she has like a price cut, like so much for a whole movie, so much. Because I know like some actors are like that.
Yeah.
Like they have a flat rate,
Yeah.
or they could charge so much, and maybe like I don't know for sure, but
Yeah.
maybe it had something to do financially.
I mean, she's become a big actress. I don't know how big she was at that point. I mean, 2018, is that when this came out?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I
when
mean,
I was
she
in
might have
the
been, but dude, the way she died was just she didn't fight back. The She was knocking the door down forever, and she just kind of was like scream. I mean, look, I get she was trying to get her daughter out, but she had gotten her daughter out. Her daughter was reaching down trying to help her, and she just let her like come up behind her real slow and just start stabbing.
She was like, "These people ain't paying me enough.
Right.
Kill me."
My guess would the only thing I could guess with that is that she stayed there kind of like as prey, to
Yeah.
try to get her daughter to be able to
At
get
night.
away as far as she could, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean,
I agree. You're supposed to fight back. If someone's coming at you. You fight back. Yeah.
yeah, which could have also kept her from chasing after her too, but nah.
So, the next death scene, I really like. I know you were talking about the acting, and we're spoiling the fuck out of this movie for anybody that might want to see it who hasn't seen it. I don't think they'll try to watch this video if they haven't seen it, but
Yeah.
the car goes kind of, into that porch or whatever, and the wood comes through and into the dad's side. And I don't remember which one of you was talking about the acting.
That was Steve.
You hated the acting.
Well, not so. It was mainly just the situation between the dad and the son. That I was like, oh, because that scene alone. I'm gonna say this, and then you take it from here because I know how much you like this part. But
yeah, we love this scene.
that scene alone was like B acting at the beginning and instantly to like top grade, John Travolta or some huge actor, A-list actor scene to me, by the end of it.
John Travolta?
I don't know. He's an A-lister. It just popped in my head.
John Travolta?
Yeah, why
I could
not?
have said anybody right there, and you just said.
No, and I was thinking, but that one rolled off my tongue for some reason. I'm sorry.
Chevy Chase.
I wanted to say Carl Weathers since he just died, but
oh man, yeah,
that's Apollo.
But you go ahead, you explain it because I know how much you like this.
Okay, so the kid goes off, right? Dad's like, no, run, go, blah, 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 whatever. And then the man in the mask comes and he sits down in the passenger seat. And they kind of have their back and forth a little bit. And this is where this scene really kicked in for me. And I'm like, I love this.
Yep.
He knows that this guy's not going anywhere. And he starts fucking with the man in the mask starts fucking with the radio. Like changing the channel.
Going to different songs.
Trying to figure out what song he wants to kill this guy to. I love that. Like, he's just hitting the buttons. Finally, he finds a song. What song was it, Mike?
So the song is Cambodia by Kim Wilde.
Yes.
And the cool thing about that are some lyrics from that song. But you want to finish, and then I'll tell you what the lyrics are.
Yeah. So I'll go off here. So
yeah,
I'm gonna recreate the scene. Are you ready? This is my knife.
All right, here we go. Put the mask on. Let's see it.
I'm saving the mask.
You have another one.
Yeah, well, it looks like Minecraft. I'll do a review of that later. But you're interrupting me. This is my scene. He takes the weapon. What is it? Like a pick or something? I don't know.
Like a little tiny knife. Like it's like
a little ice pick or something.
I thought it was an ice pick, like one of those ice chisel things.
And he holds it up, and he's looking at it, and he looks at the guy, and he kind of shows it to him, just like really subtly, just kind of holds it up, and he like nods his head, and then just jams it into this dude. But that's not even the best scene. The best scene is, and this is why I think that Damien Maffei, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, is by far the superior man in the mask. And he's a good actor because good actors can act through the mask. So he goes into this guy's chest or side or whatever. And when you zoom in on his face, you can see his eyes just like darting back and forth. Back and forth.
They're wild eyes, man. It's something.
So I watched that scene and I'm like, this is crazy. Like the guy behind the mask, he's either having a really good time or he's doing like he's crazy. And I didn't know if he did that on purpose. So I sent the guy a message who plays him, Damien, who's awesome. We talked about this before. He's a huge horror fan. He's always wearing Fangoria shirts. He's very receptive of anybody who wants to send him a message. And I said, okay, dude, look, this scene where you jab the ice pick into the dad's side and your eyes are darting back and forth, was that intentional? Because if it was genius. And he said, yeah, he wanted to show that he was actually really enjoying it. Like he wanted to convey that he was kind of getting off on it, which I thought that's smart. It's really when you have a mask over your face, So that's one of my favorite scenes. The song is Cambodia. The artist is Kim Wilde.
Kim Wilde.
Sing some lyrics to me, Mikey.
I was just gonna say, sing it.
All right, yeah. You want to sing? So it was some of the last lyrics of the song. Like, so I looked at all the lyrics, and some of the last lines were, "All the love she knew disappeared out in the haze," and then the final line of the song is, "But there's only one thing left, I know for sure, she won't see his face again." That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Heck yeah.
You think that was intentional?
I think so. I think.
Yeah.
There's too many coincidences with his song choices, that for it to be coincidence. That's an obscure song.
It's a very obscure song, and when I heard it on the radio, it's one of those songs that you're like, I've heard that before, but it wasn't a popular song.
Correct.
Yeah. That just kind of plays in to what this guy is doing with the soundtrack. Yeah. And not to mention the score. The score is totally separate.
The score is great too.
Was it Adrian Johnston did the score? And it's creepy. I actually bought the score on iTunes so I could listen to it and drive around at night.
It's so good.
It
reminds me of Christine a lot, like Christine or like John Carpenter stuff that he does.
Yes. Yeah.
I love it.
So before that happened, right? So I always like to talk about things that I'm not a big fan of in movies. So the one thing I didn't like was, first of all, that I don't like.
Yeah.
Because I got to talk about the likes and the dislikes, right? Because there's a lot to love about this movie.
Yeah.
But if somebody's gonna put down parts of this movie, one part is when the kids go in, they find the grandparents first. Dude, it's gotta smell absolutely rancid in there, number one. And they're just kind of like walking around. But then when he goes back with his dad, and then Dollface is outside, and he found the gun and everything, he starts counting down. Like, I'm gonna shoot you. It's like, oh no, was it Dollface or no? It was the man in the mask, I think. It was one of them, and he goes.
I know that he started counting, and I thought that was ridiculous.
I'm like, why are you counting?
Yeah,
like, and then they gave him time to get away. Blah blah blah. But one thing I really did like, and again, if you haven't seen the movie in a while, you might forget. But when and we haven't even talked about this because I didn't bring it up, but when they found the mom in the bathroom, I love, and it's kind of a foreshadow to the pool scene, but when he came back out, the sound changed to where it was really muffled. And I was like, that makes sense, because like he would just be completely like, what are you saying to me? Like I'm not really understanding you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it actually happens in real life to where like if something traumatic happens in front of you or something crazy happens in front of you, you'll get tunnel vision or you'll lose your audio,
Yeah,
lose your hearing.
but I
So
thought I thought that was a really like nice little addition to that little part right there.
yeah, it created a little bit of a realism in this kind of over the top horror film. I like how it
Absolutely.
danced between over the top poppy 80s music and then mixed realism in. It
Yeah.
wasn't all dark and real like the first film.
hmm
So
Um, so then after the truck scene, right, he just kind of gets out and walks away, and then the kids find each other
yes.
and they start having like a little conversation. Um,
Well, they go
and
to the
Luke,
one trailer and
they go to one trailer.
seems
Luke puts the gun down, which in fact he puts it on a book. And the book is called "A Stranger Is Watching."
that's a crazy. I never noticed that.
Yeah.
There's so many little things here that I didn't know until you told me about it.
So that's why I think like all these other things aren't coincidence. I think that this dude was like very much
Into it.
into it. You know what I mean? Like channeling
Yeah.
his inner Kubrick.
Yeah,
I
Um,
definitely agree with that 100%.
absolutely intentional.
you what?
Yeah.
I said that's absolutely intentional.
Um, but then it lulled you, which was great. They're sitting there talking about stuff that happened in the past, which was fine. And he's just cut. Obviously, he's trying to. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a part. This was another point that kind of annoyed me when they saw when she was in the bedroom and Dollface had the knife and
Yeah.
was stabbing her stabbed her, and then he had the gun and didn't shoot her.
Oh yeah.
He walks her out and he's like pointing the gun at her, shaking, and it's like he's like, "You're gonna shoot me?"
Talking about the kid wouldn't shoot her.
Yeah, the kid wouldn't shoot. The boy wouldn't shoot her.
Yeah.
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 He had it right at her, point blank, and just didn't do it. I don't know.
He was scared.
He was scared. Maybe I mean I can give the benefit of the doubt there.
As a kid, you may not want to shoot somebody.
Yeah,
As
but I mean,
an adult, I would kill him in a heartbeat.
but I mean, your mom's dead. Your dad just died. I don't know,
You sedate my dog, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
right? So anyway, so they're sitting there and they're just having this little moment, and he tourniquets her leg and stuff. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, fucking truck just bashes through the side. And the really cool thing about that is that they go to the first person point of view of the killer from inside the truck.
That was a point that you made that I didn't realize until you said it. How they show the camera view through his point of view.
Yeah, and they did that a couple times with him in the truck, and it's a really cool. Like you can see how helpless they are in front of him. You know, just like the terror in their face, which is great. You feel it.
Yeah, the movie, like you said, it kind of lulls you, and you feel like you're in a safe place in that spot, and he just destroys it and comes in.
Yeah.
So
then it just all takes off.
From there, it takes off.
From there, I mean, well, from the car scene with the dad and him, I think from there it's the movie's just awesome.
So I look at the killers as almost like snakes almost. Like I look at them as like it's their prey. They're having fun with this. Like it might be one night every the first one is supposed to take place 10 years like before part 2. So what if they do this like every 10 years or something weird like that, you know? And
Like
it's
Pennywise?
like, this is our one night out. Instead of putting on suits and stuff, we're going out there and we're just gonna have a good time scaring these people. And we don't want it to be done that quick. We want to like really enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's their thing.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely their thing for sure. They almost love the hunt more than the kill.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I think that's the kind of the point, right? That they love the hunt for them, it's just
It's just a
so
good time out in the town.
good time out in the town and in the cabins.
I got my two best women with me, and I'm killing.
Can we talk about the
What?
pool?
No,
Yes.
not yet. I'd say we talk about the pool last. We finished the movie first.
Okay. Well,
So we kind of talked about how other older movies are tied in, right? And so another thing is that whole tube scene on the playground. And I believe that you've talked about how other movies have tried to do that. The Michael Myers Out of the Darkness, right?
from the shadows.
Yeah, the shadows.
Yeah.
And they did that flawlessly, right? I mean,
They did, and I know that they used the lighting, which they probably meant as like the headlights from the truck at the one end of the tube to illuminate. It was pinup, right? That
Yes.
popped out from the darkness.
Yep.
And in Michael Myers fashion, he would come in really nice and slow.
Yeah.
Whereas she was like there just instantly.
Immediate.
Instant.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a jump scare, but it wasn't really wasn't a jump scare.
It was a good jump scare. It was.
I get annoyed at jump scares, but that one was good.
Yeah. If it's done right, I'm down with it.
Yeah.
I with that scene, instead of it like being a jump scare, it's more of like it's supposed to be like an eerie feeling, just uneasy, Like I didn't get so much scared at that part. I was just like, oh man, like there's no hope whatsoever,
No, like because I think about stuff like that. Like you see a tube in a playground, you think that's a safe place. Especially if there's a truck outside, that truck's not going to come in.
Yeah.
3 ways to get out of this thing, and she's in here with you, and you didn't even know it.
Right.
So,
and she was in there. I don't know how, but I'll talk about that later.
Yeah, like what were you just hanging out in here?
Yeah, like how did you get here? It seems so unnatural. But anyway, all right, so skipping the pool scene because that's not the last scene, right? So after that, the final girl, she the cop shows up. She's yelling at the cop, right? And it's like they've gone crazy, blah blah blah. Dollface comes and slits his throat.
Yep.
And then she runs into the cop car. And I really like this scene. She tries to get the gun off, can't get it. And she's like slashing her hands and stuff. And then it's like the camera's in the car and you just see she gets it off and you just see her and it's all kind of slow motion. It's not slow motion, but it all kind of happens where she like cocks the gun and it's like what's going to happen and then she just lets off and then she flies back.
Yeah.
And then she asks her, why are you doing this? And she says, why not? Which brings me to the question.
And then gives you that creepy smile.
That bloody smile, right? And then she obviously like cocks it again and shoots her and she's done. Notwithstanding the I don't know what the kickback would be on the shotgun in the car, but whatever. So what's the better line though? Why not? Or because you were home?
They're both so good. They're both so good. I like because you were home. That's my favorite.
I agree. But I also really like how she said, why not? And gave that creepy smile.
Yeah.
And you actually, I mean, that's the first time that you saw one of their faces.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, this is just a normal person.
Yeah.
They're just.
Well, I mean, you kind of saw her face more than anybody. And I think that's why he was okay with showing her face. Because brightened up and stuff. You kind of saw her face more than anything. Yeah. Which, by the way, let me kind of tie that in because she always asks for Tamara, right?
Yeah.
So Lewis Pullman, his mom's name is Tamara.
Do you think
Which I mean,
that's
I don't know.
coincidence?
What's up?
That's coincidence.
It's pointless.
No coincidence.
Oh, coincidence. I don't know. I mean, it could be because she said Tamara in the first movie, and he wasn't in that movie. So
And
I still thought
you
it was
did
funny.
see her face a little bit in the first movie as well, at the very
Mhm.
beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
With
In the
that
end.
light bulb.
Yeah, the light bulb.
In the
Which after she left, he miraculously is like, "Oh, I'm just gonna turn it in," and it turns back on. Anyway,
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
won't-
assume that they unscrewed it.
well, right. But I mean, he could have reached out and tried to. But anyways,
Do that when she was there.
do that when she was there.
What do you want? Huh?
I can't see you. Hold on.
So after that scene, I really
then-
didn't get in the full scene, but so we got to get into the chase scene.
We do. So yeah. So then after that, then he comes in his truck, and this whole last series is fantastic because he runs into the cop car
Mhm.
from the back, and he keeps ramming into it, and then he gets stuck on it. He can't get out, and she jumps out, and that's when Nothing at All, the song Nothing at All starts playing,
Air Supply.
Air Supply,
Yes.
and he's stuck, and she lights up a lighter and is kind of staring at him, and he's staring back, and then she sees that it's leaking gasoline and just throws it.
So the Air Supply song.
Yeah.
I didn't really know what this song was about, but you told me, you said you read the lyrics of this song.
I did.
So sing it.
I don't necessarily have lyrics, but the song is about basically a boy obsessed with a girl.
That's
Wow.
not coincidental.
And there you go.
And it's
Yeah, no. He had to know.
another example of this song what doesn't fit in
No.
the scene, but it works perfectly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then it goes into the whole Christine, the flaming truck,
Yep.
chasing the girl, and I mean that's a very direct homage to Christine.
Oh yeah. Chases her on the bridge, and then he gets out, and then you're just like, man, this guy just keeps going. It's almost like he's supernatural, but he kind of eventually succumbs to all the smoke and his burns, and then he falls. So he's dead, right?
Well, it's a horror movie.
Yeah.
So
then,
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
yeah,
homage.
they do so much at the end that looks like the end of Texas Chainsaw.
And I like that scene too, where she flags down the
Yep.
pickup truck, and they see him coming, and she jumps in the back, and there's that fight.
I feel so bad for that mom and son that picked her up.
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah.
Going up there to that mess.
Hell is going on here?
So then when I saw that, I thought about the beginning of the first movie. I said the first movie started out as like with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of thing, and this one absolutely ended with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre theme.
Yes.
So again,
The writer
another
has
thing that-
taste.
what?
The writer has good taste.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw.
And then there's the bat to the face. Now, that shot to me, it reminds me of another film, but I don't know what it is. Just the bat to the face and the way the blood spatters.
Yeah.
I can't pinpoint what film it
Hmm.
reminds me of, but I swear I've seen a shot like that before. But it could just be me.
I don't know.
That's the end of the film.
Yep.
Let's
rewind it. Let's rewind. Be kind. Rewind.
to one of the best scenes in cinematic history.
Maybe the best horror scene ever, Stevie.
Very good.
No, this scene is phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
it totally made the movie for me 100%.
So, Mike, you want to lead it off?
I mean, I can. So I like how it started with him calling the cops in the grocery store or whatever, because you could already tell that he's all like adrenalized, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then it starts off. I mean, so you go out there and everything's lit up. Totally Eclipse of the Heart comes on, and you're like, "What is this?"
Well, yeah.
Then,
So that song starts up.
Yeah.
It's like the jukebox starts up.
And then you got the neon palm trees and the pool, like
the blue.
It all looks so like awesome in like the weirdest, creepiest way, but
in that song, you don't expect something bad to happen when you hear that song. Again, it's a misplaced song.
No, we're about to have a good time with some neon palm trees.
But then all of a sudden you hear pop, 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 pop.
You just hear these steps come through, right?
Yeah. And
it's pinup comes out of nowhere. And that the way the camera pans in and it doesn't shoot away, it's not a close-up, it's just, and he turns around and lays into her.
Yeah.
Takes her out.
What's he hit her with? What? What's he hit her with?
It looked like a crowbar or something. I don't know if it was it could have been a bat, I suppose. Yeah. It's probably a bat. I think it was a bat. But that sound when she's coming in, man, running in.
Yes. Stevie, you say you saw that in the theater?
In the theater?
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you guys about that. Like, did you guys didn't see it in theater, or you did?
I didn't see it in the theater.
Dude, that part in that, like, I'm sitting there watching it, and that lighting, like you were saying, with with the palm trees and stuff, it looks like you're in water from like you're floating on a raft or something from the reflection of the water and on the side of the walls in the theater and stuff. But when that scene's coming up and you hear them running, it sounds like they're running right behind you up the aisle in the theater. Like it legitimately makes you look back, like, who's that coming? It puts the hair on your neck, just stands up.
Man, that would have been great.
They had to film it just like they had to have filmed it for the theaters for that scene. Like the way the sound and everything, lighting, it was just perfect.
Seeing that scene in the theater had to be awesome.
Yes, sure.
Nice.
So that for me is a huge turning point for the kid's name's Luke, right?
Mm-hmm.
The actor that plays him, he kills Pinup, and then let me back up a little bit. You see the man in the mask slowly dragging his axe across the concrete.
Yeah,
super creepy, super like horror movie. Awesome.
That should have been your movie poster.
Yes.
The noise made was fantastic too.
Oh yeah.
And he's looking at those two. The man in the mask is looking at Luke and Pinup as he's dragging it, and Luke starts with his I killed one of yours. How does that fucking feel?
Yep.
His voice is like
and shaking. Yeah, adrenaline just flowing.
It looks like the kid is amped up on adrenaline, like in real life. That was really good acting in his part, and it like made you feel like, yeah, motherfucker, how does that feel?
Yeah.
Like, let's go. I'm ready.
Yeah.
And then it just ensues, and he starts swinging that axe. And we were talking about how when he swings that axe, it's very like it's a very raw
and visceral, realistic. You can tell that axe is heavy. You can tell like he's putting it, all of his might into it.
Putting his ass into it.
He is. And then like just missing him, you're just like, oh, like every swing, you're like, oh.
But I also noticed, and I think about this a lot, that if somebody came at me with a weapon, and they swing, I want to take that back swing as an opportunity to try
To attack.
to attack.
Yeah.
And he was kind of doing that. So it was a very cool back and forth until Luke ended up in the pool, and then there was one final swing, and he kind of flips the man in the mask into the pool,
Right.
and then that's where it pops off for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't already amazing,
Yeah.
it just amped it up to 11. Like above the water, below the water.
The music is louder.
Mm-hmm.
So above the water, it's they're fighting underneath the water. So under the water, it's just this chaotic battle back and forth, and the music is very muffled. And then they pan to the top of the water, and it's completely calm, and the music is loud. And then they go back and forth. It's just that was shot so well.
Yep.
A very emotional scene for sure.
Yeah.
And I remember when Mike, you saw it before I did.
Mm-hmm.
Your comment to me was, I want to know your opinion on one scene. Let me know when you watch it.
Yeah.
And as soon as I watched it, I called you, and I'm like, it was the pool scene, wasn't it?
Yeah. And again, there's a couple cool scenes in there, right?
Yeah.
But that one just stands out.
You don't get many horror films that do that make a scene like that. They want it to be tough and make you like, oh my gosh, but that one actually makes you feel something, like you are there, and just everything in that whole scene was just perfect, to where it was just like you could have been standing on the side of that pool watching it there.
But you feel like you're in the pool.
In the pool with them.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's the nostalgia of that song that song was a popular song back in the day.
Huge, yeah.
I'm hearing this song that I haven't heard in such a long time. So there's this comfort, and then there's a comfort in the lighting with the pool and the palm trees being different colors. But then there's this I don't know, this war that's happening in front of me and under the water. And then when the man in the mask, I keep wanting to say the tall man because of Phantasm. The man in the mask gets him, stabs him. You see like the beautiful blue lighting of the pool get kind of muddied with the red from the blood, and it kind of, I don't know, works its way out. It's just, dude, that shot is insane.
Yep.
I love that. And then the man in the mask just kind of walks off like it's nothing.
Yeah, he like looks down at him, just kind of like, and just walks off.
Just walks out of the pool.
Yeah. And then Kinsey comes and pulls him out of the water.
Yep. And then that's the end of that scene. She ruined a beautiful scene.
Man. I mean, even that actor. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even that actor, the Luke guy, even his breathing watching that scene, and after he gets injured, and he's like, his breathing is starting to get like panic, like he's dying or whatever, and like I would catch myself watching that, and I'm like trying to breathe for him, because I mean, he even had that breathing down of the dying.
I'm glad you brought that up, and that's not something that we talked about before, but that's a really good point. He was kind of floating on his back, and when you do like a back float like that, and the water's kind of starting to come up over you, you get almost a sense of panic, even though you just flip up, but he wasn't able to flip up. And as he's like that labored breathing, and the blood starts kind of coming out of his mouth, it kind of adds to that panic.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because you can relate to the water coming up over you, even though you've never been stabbed in a pool. It's still like, that's enough.
Yeah.
You posed a very interesting question. Last night.
I did. I'm going to ask you guys again.
Go for it.
Okay.
I know what. Okay, go ahead.
So in watching these movies, and I'm trying to make things make sense because, and I'm going to go back to the first one real quick. And there was a part in it where he's in the car, and I think it's Dollface, puts her hand on his shoulder and his hair. He turns around and she's gone. And then there's all these other parts where Pinup shows up in the tubes. They're just everywhere, all at once.
He's in the burning car and he gets
He's
out.
in the burning car, and he's like, I mean, he's burnt up to a crisp. Stabbed has pulling glass out of himself, and then he just appears like full power, swing an axe at her again. So my question is, are the strangers supernatural?
No. 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 That will crush me.
Have they become supernatural from the first movie?
No. They're just crazy killers. They just want to get their job done. They're running on, just that anxiety, like the anxiousness of killing. And no, they're not supernatural. No.
It'll ruin it. Stevie wants realism. That's
Yeah.
You're
what
gonna kill me. with this.
Did you hear his Freddy Krueger's 4 because he's not
Yeah.
real?
Yeah.
Come
Well,
on,
Michael
Jason-
Myers. Michael
even though
Myers
Jason's a
number one
teleporter.
after he got shot 6 times.
come
Yeah.
on, dude. I was just chilling with Michael Myers today, so I know he's real.
All right.
Come on.
I mean, Stevie, listen, I'm not going to make you say yes or no, but does it give you a little pause to think?
Yes. And that's why I'm pouting over here, sulking so bad, because I'm scared.
Well, I'm
It's
gonna,
actually-
I'm gonna say no. Just to make Stevie feel better.
Thank you.
Okay.
But I think that maybe we'll find something out coming up this year. There's a new Strangers trilogy coming out.
Yes, sir. 3 of them.
And Stevie, you said all 3 were coming out this year, right?
That's what they were been saying. That's what they're planning on. They shot all 3 of them at one time. So and one of them's supposed to take place at the same time frame as the first one. So it's not like a remake, so to say, but it's going to, I guess, like a revision. I don't know. But my guess it's going to be 3 new movies, and it's supposed to be it's their prequels, and it's supposed to be backstory of the killers. So you're going to find out about them, and I'm assuming all 3 movies might be through the eyes of, like, each killer. Maybe, I don't know.
So it's a movie, not like a mini TV series or something like that.
No, they're going to be movies.
Okay.
3 new movies.
So I guess so. All right. I have a question. I haven't asked this to you guys. So what would you want from these movies? Would you want it to be in the style of the first one, or more like the second, or maybe a mix of both?
You want to go first, Matt?
I'll tell you what I want. If it's a trilogy, I want a separate story for each killer.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like for it to be a mix of both.
Okay.
I would like for. I'm sorry, what?
Maybe even shot like first person through the eyes of the killer.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of the films.
Yeah.
I
agree
think that
with
would
that.
be like how like Maniac was done.
Right
Yeah.
on.
Okay.
He stole stuff from so many different horror films. Why not make one of the trilogy like Maniac and shoot it through the eyes of the killer?
That would be cool. I would like to see a lot of it through the eyes of the killers, and I would like for it to be shot weird, like say, like Baby Doll.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she's obviously the girly girl. Maybe they're all crazy, obviously, in their head. Maybe she sees things in like pretty pinks, and the people she's killing are like, Barbies, Barbie or something, like in their own craziness. Like you see their insanity through their eyes watching it on the screen. So where each killer is coming from.
Like, oh, they're not so bad. They just think that that's something that it's not.
Yeah.
Just see how crazy they are and how, because everyone's not like thinking the same way, killing, that they have their own motives and their own reasonings.
Like, are they related? Do we know that, or they're not related? Or we're not sure.
Judging from that 2-minute clip thing that Matt was talking about earlier, it's kind of like a prequel for part 2, the music
Okay.
video. I don't think so,
Okay.
because they all come from different places. Like that
Okay.
video shows them coming from different areas.
But how
like
do you find somebody to like be that down to do that? Like,
That's
who's
what I'm-
that ride or die?
that's what I'm curious about with these prequels they're going to do. Like, that's what I'm really excited about to find out.
Stevie, I've known you since I was like 14 years old. Mike, I've known you since I was 4 or 5. I call you tomorrow and say, let's go kill some people. You down?
I would have to talk to you and get some logic and why
Who is
first.
it? Who is it?
That
You
doesn't.
see, that's the thing. Yeah.
Trevor's
I'll
home.
go along to help, like, be your getaway or whatever, but I
Like,
don't know if
how's
I'm
it? I guess. I mean, Charles Manson did it.
yeah.
Maybe I just got to grow a beard.
I'm
There
just
you go.
curious, like,
Crazy eyes.
could it be a thing to where he maybe he is kind of like a cult leader, the man in the
Mhm.
mask, or something like that, and these girls follow him, like a Manson type deal. I don't know. Maybe they all get together and like like I said, the 2 movies take 10 years apart from each other, part 1 and part 2. Maybe, they get together and like take a bunch of drugs or something and go out and do this stuff, and they're all just like out of their minds, to do this. I'm anxious to see and find out, and I really hope they touch on that. I really hope they
You think
have to.
they're a bunch of hippies?
No, not hippies. Maybe take some well, no, not hippies. They're just crazy.
They're hippies.
They're just crazy. Maybe one of them are hippies.
I feel like the man in the mask was like some kind of psychologist or some kind of doctor who just
Ah,
went
Yeah, there
went
you go.
crazy.
Like the Scarecrow.
Yeah, and then Dollface, I feel like is going to be somebody that was pretty, but she was bullied or in a broken home, some type of thing like that. I'm not saying that's what I want, but that's typically what happens.
I don't want the backstory, man. The backstories ruin everything.
But that's what they're going to do, right? They're going to do backstories.
Well, it's going to be like them. It's a prequel to the first one, like I said. So it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be backstories like as far as going years back of them, or if it's like backstories to like the beginning of that first movie that night, the beginning of that. It's just going to be before part 1 and 2.
Whatever
So,
it is, I'm excited for it. And
Me too.
it
Me
really
too.
bummed me out that you were talking about your buddy and how excited he was for Pray at Night and how he got you said he got an early script, is that right?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Tell us about
You're
that.
talking to me, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a huge fan of the first movie. We would sit and talk about it forever. And he ended up getting an advanced script to part 2, which it wasn't the same one that came out in the movies, but he had a script for part 2 that he was all excited about. We talked about it all the time. And I went and saw part 2, and that next morning I was excited to call him up and talk to him about it, see what he felt or if he got to see it yet or not. And I got a call that morning that he had passed away. So he never even got to see part 2, and he was looking forward to that for a while because there's a few years in between the first one and the second one.
I want to
Yeah,
see.
like 10 years.
Do you think he
What
would have
was it, 10 years?
do you think he would have liked that the way they did it?
I think so. I think he would have been very happy with it. Yes, because he was a huge fan of like the 70s and 80s horror films, and that definitely gave you that feel watching that movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I was looking this movie up, and it's got pretty low ratings across the board. The second one, especially, and I think I think with this new trilogy coming out, I think that'll change.
I hope that it does what you said it would do, and maybe down the road get a more of a cult following.
Cult following.
I mean, based off the pool scene alone,
Yeah.
people should love this film.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I think we covered everything. I'm still recording, so that's good. I got to see
Wow.
Zach today, which is awesome. So I wanted to give a shout out to Zach because he sent me a text. What's up, Zach?
Hey, Zach.
He sent me a text and
You still watching this? How long have we been doing this? Like 2 hours?
there's no way he's staying to the end of this show. No way.
I bet you will.
I look on YouTube Studio and people like lose interest after the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But if Zach, if you make it this far, it was great hanging out with you. Thanks for the text, and we want to have you on here to talk about nerd shit, please.
Yes, please.
I guess that wraps it up. Yeah.
Yeah, man. First
All
time
right.
Stevie on it was good. Well, first time ish.
You guys let me instead just throw me out to the wolves and like having to like do it in front of everyone, for the first time. You guys gave me a practice round.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
intense. Just
Cameron didn't take it all this time. That's good.
I was just get ready to say that. I set it up on something like you guys said. I have a little tripod thing set it up on, so I'm not sitting there holding it and shaking. Because that's all I could think about when the first time we filmed was it moving it back because Matt yelled at me.
Isn't it so much more calming?
I'll get you a tripod.
Well, did this work good?
Yeah, it works great.
Works
I'll
great.
just do this. I'll just do this.
All right. If you're happy with it, I'm happy with it.
I'm happy with it. I didn't get yelled at.
Oh,
Thank you everybody for watching. Like the video, comment on the video. Let us know what you thought of The Strangers. Oh, there's one more thing real quick.
Oh.
What would you give? What would you give?
Oh.
And I think we got to go 10s. We got to go 1 to 10.
Out of 10? So out of 10 VHS tapes, not beta.
Yeah, VHS is good. That's going to be our rating system, VHS tapes.
And you can only go half. Enough of this 0.2.
So it's like a full number or half.
Or half. Yeah.
But okay.
Half of VHS.
All right.
All right.
Stevie.
Me. All right. Part 1, I will give it 4.5.
Well, hold on. No, it's out of 10 now.
Oh, that's right. You did just say that 10. I'm sorry. I will give it
9.
I would give it about an 8.5 then, the first one.
Okay.
First one, I love that movie. It's so good. Second one, I'm going to, even though it has those awesome scenes, which actually gives it this number, I'll give it I'd probably go with a 7.
Damn. That's a drop.
Mm-hmm.
1.5.
All right, Mikey.
So yeah, I'll go right through. I will actually do the exact opposite. I will do 7 for the first one, and I'll do 8.5 for the second one. I'm going 8 on both. I like them both for very different reasons. Yeah.
That's valid, yeah.
So that's our scores. That's our review. Like the video, comment on what you think about it. If you don't like it, you can leave comments about that. We don't really give a shit either way.
I mean, maybe you fell asleep to this and you're dozed off, and this is what you use to
like it if you
put yourself to sleep at night.
It's like that black noise or the
white noise. Yeah, the white noise. Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you guys for putting up with my dumb ass for not recording before.
It's all right.
I love you both very much, and thanks for helping me.
Love you too, man.
Thanks for having me on. Love you guys.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you soon.